Imagine descending into the bowels of the earth, where sunlight has never penetrated, where every step could be your last. Today, I'm going to tell you two terrifying stories that took place in the depths underground, where carelessness and recklessness turned adventure into a nightmare. The first will make your blood run cold, as it combines an underground party with deadly tragedy, while the second is a series of disasters in a crescendo of horror that lasts 24 endless hours. Our first story takes us to the arid lands of Mexico in July 2005. 5 friends in their 20s, led by Roberto, a young man with a reckless temperament, are planning what should have been the weekend of their lives. They discovered spectacular photos on social media of raves organized in caves near Cueva de los Muertos. The idea fascinates them, dancing all night in the bowels of the earth, far from everything, in a mystical and electrifying atmosphere. But here's the problem: none of them has ever set foot in a cave. Their experience of caving is limited to adventure films they've seen at the cinema. They had no protective helmets, no professional lighting, and no emergency equipment. Their only sources of light? The flashlights on their cell phones. Their only preparation? Crates of alcohol, a portable sound system, and various substances that would further impair their already failing judgment. On the afternoon of their arrival, the makeshift camp is already bustling with activity. Dozens of vehicles are parked haphazardly in a dusty clearing. The excitement is palpable, and alcohol is flowing freely even before the sun sets. The weather forecast calls for heavy rain, but no one has bothered to check. After all, they're here to party, not worry about a few drops of rain. As they head toward the cave entrance, following the sound of techno music already echoing from deep inside, the path is muddy from a previous downpour. But it doesn't matter, they slip and slide laughing, already under the influence of alcohol. Eduardo has already twisted his ankle tripping over a root, but he brushes off the pain with a carefree gesture and another swig of beer. The rave is in full swing when they arrive. Hundreds of young people are dancing in and around the entrance to Cueva de los Muertos. The bass reverberates off the rock walls, creating a surreal acoustic.
Our 5 friends get cooked up in the collective euphoria, dancing, drinking, and venturing deeper and deeper into the cave, well beyond the limits set by the organisé.
They deliberately ignore the few poorly placed no-entry signs, driven by adrenaline and alcohol. Around midnight, the sky opens up. Rain pours down with unprecedented violence, instantly transforming the ground into a deadly ice rink. The party continues inside, but Roberto, now completely drunk, decides he wants to get more alcohol from their camp. Despite the worried protests of his friends, who can see the state of the weather, his drunkenness, and the total darkness outside, he insists on going alone. Finally, Marco, who is also quite drunk, decides to accompany him. The 2 young men stagger out into the pouring rain. Their fatal mistake? They didn't bring a flashlight or headlamp. Their phones have been dead for hours, drained by photos and videos from the party. Their only source of light comes from the sporadic flashes of lightning that streak across the sky, creating ghostly shadows before plunging them back into total darkness. Roberto walks ahead, carrying an empty bag to bring back the bottles. His drunkenness gives him false confidence, a dangerous bravado that blinds him to the danger surrounding him. Marco follows a few steps behind, his movements increasingly disordered as he struggles against the mud that sucks at his shoes. Suddenly, a gust of wind brings with it an even denser sheet of rain. Roberto quickens his pace, but in his condition, he strays from the path. During a flash of lightning, the ground in front of him looks solid and he moves forward with confidence. But he is tragically mistaken. The sound of breaking glass tears through the night as Roberto finds not solid ground beneath his feet, but a sheer drop. The bag containing several bottles of beer smashes against the rock face as his body falls into the darkness of the Sótano del Barro. His cry is brief, cut off by impact after impact. First a fall of 24 meters, then he tumbles down a steep slope of 6 meters before falling another 19 meters. His body hits the ground with terrible force, ending his life instantly. Marco freezes in horror. The sound of breaking glass and Roberto's sudden scream instantly sobered him up. He calls out, but there is no answer. Terrified and disoriented, he backs away, painfully aware of the invisible dangers surrounding him. Miraculously, he manages to find his way back to the entrance of the cave, where he explains what happened. Chaos reigns. Everyone scatters in confusion. 3 of their friends, despite their intoxication, rush out into the rain to try to find Roberto. The local authorities are contacted by one of the few sober participants who still has cell phone reception. Rescue teams specializing in underground exploration rush to the scene. They arrive at dawn, when the rain has finally let up. The 4 surviving friends, now painfully sober, guide the rescue team to the approximate location where Roberto disappeared. The rescuers, professionals equipped with the appropriate gear, quickly identify the entrance to the Sotano del Barro, a geological formation they know well but which is completely unknown to the group of friends. They set up safety ropes and descend with professional lighting and communication equipment. At the bottom of the well, among the shards of glass that were once beer bottles, they find Roberto's body. The fall was instantaneously fatal, his head suffering catastrophic trauma on impact. This tragedy could have been avoided if Roberto and his friends had followed basic rules. Never explore alone, always have appropriate lighting, know the terrain, and above all, never consume alcohol or drugs while caving.